Again, let's make together a simple milk day treat. Simple frozen yogurt. We don't need a machine. We don't need any real special ingredients. This is going to take a few minutes, and it's pretty simple to understand. So, simple thing, and I'm going to make 3 different flavors this evening. Now, I do recommend that if you are already on AccuWeight, that you do make it as part of a milk day so that you can taste at least the first time you make it, because if you keep track of how much ingredient you like to taste, then it's easy to make any time. But the first time, especially that you're making it, again, you're going to adjust the flavors to personal taste. So tonight we're going to make chocolate frozen yogurt, vanilla frozen yogurt, and we're going to make cherry pomegranate frozen yogurt. So those are the 3 flavors we're going to make tonight. And the thing you need to know, because we are not using a machine, we're not doing any additives, this is not soft serve yogurt. This yogurt is going to have the consistency. The best analogy that I could come up with is, if you remember the Italian ice cups that we used to get as kids, I even have some in my freezer and can show you. It has that like consistency when you have to scrape it to get at the good stuff. So it's going to have that consistency of scrape it. So it's not a soft serve ice cream. It's not quite an ices. It's somewhere between an ices and a sorbet in its consistency. But obviously it's dairy because we're using yogurt. And here's the list of the ingredients we're going to use tonight. I've got again, I live near Wegmans. You can use whatever plain unflavored whole milk yogurt that you get. Again, I got the big 32-ounce tub. And so that's just plain yogurt. This is pre and probiotic, which I love. Again, nice health benefits. We are going to, for the chocolate, my favorite, as you know, the Ghirardelli Premium Baking Cocoa. The only ingredient, I don't know if you can see, ingredient, cocoa. That's it. So, again, look, you can use any brand, but if you're going to get, one of the most readily available is Hershey's. And I think Hershey Bar, Ghirardelli, Chocolate Square, I go for the Ghirardelli. Just quality of taste. I think it's a richer taste. Like Hershey's, don't get me wrong, I like a more potent taste, and I find that the Ghirardelli has a nice flavor to it. Same thing, we're going to make vanilla yogurt. I use premium quality organic. Which one is this one? Morton & Bassett. This is one of my personal favorites. Again, I've used McCormick's. I've used lower end. The big thing when you're using baking extract is just make sure there's no added sugar. So when we make the vanilla, I'm going to use the vanilla extract. And for our cherry pomegranate, I'm going to use our electrolyte. So again, this is the brand Ultima. They sent us some samples. So this is the cherry pomegranate. It comes in a tube. And again, we're going to adjust it to taste. This isn't going to need any added sweetener because it comes already sweetened with stevia. Tonight, I am going to use Swerve. Last time I made it, I believe I used 2 packets for about 4 ounces. Again, this is a 0-calorie sweetener. But again, people are always asking me, what's in my kitchen? We have a variety. Again, it's an AccuWeight house. Different tastes. We're always trying different products because people are always asking us for different things. So for example, this one's not opened yet. This is monk fruit in the raw. So we've heard of stevia in the raw and this in the raw, that in the raw. So they now have monk fruit in the raw. But the monk fruit we've always used up until now has been Lakanto, and I have that one too. That one's opened, so I haven't opened. Actually, at some point, I'll probably do a taste test. I have my usual go-to Truvia, and my dad's favorite is Splenda Naturals. Again, it's the same formula, I should say similar formula. Same ingredients as Truvia, slightly different texture, and slightly different formula of using the same 2 ingredients. So Truvia and Splenda Naturals are very similar, but they are a little different. So that's in our house too. And then again, I just started using, I've used it in the past, I haven't used it in a while. I'm back on Swerve, which I happen to love the taste. I just bought, I was kind of excited. I found that they actually came out with brown sugar and confectioner's sugar both 0 calorie. And they're the first things that I've seen. This is the first brand, and I will say I apologize. It was a client who brought to my attention that these exist. I knew about Swerve. I didn't know about the brown sugar and the confectioners. I just bought them, haven't tried them yet. But they were the first products beyond regular kind of sugar substitutes that are all natural and 0 calories. So I think that's going to be really interesting, and we'll see what we can do. Again, I will say that Lakanto Golden is kind of similar to a brown sugar, but it does appear that the Swerve is really kind of a brown sugar substitute. So that's what we're going to work with tonight. It's literally that simple. If you want, as you're doing it, you can also put in a pinch of salt. Sometimes offsets flavors. When it comes to frozen yogurt, I like to keep it simple, and we've been enjoying it as is. So we're just going to do that. So all I do, again, this is at like, what did it say, 9.2? Yeah, no, 9. This is a 9.5 ounce container. So if I want 4 ounces, I'm going to go a little less than half, right? So all I do, and again, even just to keep track, a tablespoon of yogurt is approximately ½ an ounce, right? So all I'm going to do, let me see if I can, I'm not going to be able to do this, so I'm going to do this below level, is I'm just going to take a regular spoon from my cabinet, a tablespoon. I'm not doing a formal tablespoon measure. I will use a measuring tablespoon for the cocoa and for the vanilla. But just for the yogurt, just mix it up a little so it's not all sitting whatever on the top. It's a brand new container I just bought. And again, I'm just going to do about 8 spoons. 1, 2, 3, and actually, I think because I'm doing heaping spoons, I don't really need to do so many. So I actually did 4 big tablespoons. And you can see it's just a little, can you see? I don't know the lighting. Can you see? Let's just try to see with lighting. It's a little less. It's so funny. Regular kitchen lighting, what can I tell you? I don't know. Oh, there you go. So you can see it's just a little below the halfway line. And I'm just going to fill, to make my life easy, and we're going to make all 3 at the same time. I'm just going to do the same thing in the other 2 containers. So I am just spooning basically 4 heaping teaspoons or tablespoons. So again, it's just below the halfway mark, because these again are 9.5 ounce containers. So going a little less than half is going to get me about 4 ounces. So I am just, again, on that third one, I'm doing 3, 4 heaping teaspoons. And again, you can see it got me to a little less than halfway. And I'm just going to set the yogurt aside. So now I've got my containers of just plain yogurt. Now, by the way, some people like plain yogurt frozen. So if you do, it's that simple. Put it in a container, stick on the lid, stick in the freezer. So if you like that kind of sourness, or you cook, quite honestly, if you like plain, you could add just some sweetener and freeze it that way. I like flavored yogurt, so we're going to go make some flavored yogurt. Excuse me, of course, of all nights, I'm wearing a shirt that has like... And so that's really fun for cooking, so don't mind me. Now, last time I did this, I found that for the cocoa, I kind of went for a little more than a tablespoon. But again, I'm going to start with just using a tablespoon of cocoa. So there's my Ghirardelli. I'm just using a level tablespoon. And I am going to pour that in to the yogurt. And I'm going to start with, because you just never know, again, personal taste, I'm just going to do 1 sweetener packet. The nice part is my garbage can is right below. And I'm just going to pour in the sweetener. And I'm just going to take a little, I have demi-tasse teaspoons, and I'm just going to mix it in, right? And you just want to mix it well, because obviously if it's going to be frozen, we don't want any weird bits. So... you know, with dry ingredients, it's a little harder, you know, the powder, I just want to make sure I'm breaking it up. And I'm just going to mix it, right? And like I mentioned, I do recommend, especially the first time you're making this, until you figure out what your personal taste is with the ingredients you're using, I would do it during a milk day to enjoy for the second milk day or for the next following, a couple days later after your veggie days. So this way you actually can taste what you've made. So I'm just going to dip my finger. I'm going to dip my finger in the spoon. Yeah, I want that second sweetener. But I will say that 1 tablespoon made a really nice chocolatey flavor. And that's good for me. And the nice part is you're allowed, again, 2 tablespoons of cocoa on a milk day or any day. So you're allowed 2 tablespoons of cocoa. So the nice part is I've only used 1, which means I can use cocoa for another recipe if I want. So that one is done. I don't know if you can see. Trying to see if we can. There we go. Getting some of the color. There we go. So you can see the chocolate yogurt. And I'm just going to lick the spoon on that and stick it in my sink. And all I'm going to do is pop the lid on. And again, I purposely bought ones that are freezer safe and make sure that the lid is on good, very well. And that's it for that. So I am now going to do vanilla yogurt. Now look how easy that was, right? How quick is that? So I'm going to make a vanilla one. And again, I'm going to use, I don't know, vanilla strong. So I'm going to start with half a tablespoon. And again, now we know from the other one, I definitely liked having 2 sweeteners. So I'm going to use 2 packets, go a little faster. And again, I might want to add in more vanilla. This is going to be to personal taste. So you might like something less sweet. You might want a little more flavor. That's all going to be personal taste. I purposely, in prepping for tonight, I took out 3 separate spoons so I wasn't mixing my flavors. And all I'm doing is making sure to stir it in. Now, for most of you, if you don't realize, vanilla extract does have a slightly brown color, so the yogurt is going to turn kind of a beige color. If you think about really good vanilla bean ice cream, it's not white. Those are usually when they're using fake vanilla, is when you get white ice cream. Really good vanilla bean ice cream has a slight beige color to it. So again, let's see if you can see. See, it's got a little beige tint to it. And again, I'm just going to, I find instead I don't want to dip my finger in the thing, I kind of just dip my finger in the spoon to taste. You know what? I love really vanilla things, so I'm going to go for that other half tablespoon. Now, as compared to the cocoa, there's no restriction on how much vanilla you can use in a day, so you can still feel free to use it in other recipes. So again, I'm just mixing it up so it's nice and blended. Let's see. And that's got a nice vanilla flavor. It's nice and sweet, the way I like it. And pop on the lid. Flavor number 2 done. And last but not least, so let me just put the lid on the vanilla. I'm going to try to make it. Now, I've made yogurt flavored with the Ultima product. I've been using the raspberry, but we're going to use the cherry pomegranate tonight just to do something different. So I'm just pouring it open. Now, this is very sweet, and I do recommend in general, if you're using the electrolytes to flavor something, that you do have a glass of water before you consume whatever it is you put it in, because these electrolytes are meant to be diluted. They're diluted some, putting them in your yogurt, but we just don't want any kind of funny feelings. And the first time I did it and I hadn't had some water, I was a little tingly. So I said, have some water first, and then I felt great. So again, I'm not going to use anywhere near a whole tube. I'm just going to sprinkle a little in. Probably going to use about 1/4, maybe 1/3 of the tube. And I don't know if you can see, nice pink color there. There we go. And again, I'm going to take about a 1/3 spoon, and I am just going to going to do my best to blend it in. Hey, if you want swirl, you don't have to blend it in. It's actually got a nice pretty swirl right now. Probably fun. It looks like a peppermint stick, although we're going sweet here. It might need a tiny bit more based on the color, is my guess, because it's a very pale pink, and I know when I'm making the yogurt, just to eat yogurt, not frozen, it gets a nice rich pink color. Again, it's personal taste. Some people like lightly, flavored things. Some people like a little more. And again, I'm just going to dip my finger. Ooh, pretty close. It's a nice flavor, this cherry pomegranate. So here we've got like a nice pink color and delicious cherry pomegranate. That is yummy. Hadn't tried that one in the yogurt yet. Really, really good. And the other thing they came out with was making gummies. That's the next thing I'm going to try too, is I'm going to try their gummy recipe using, you can imagine, electrolyte gummies. How fun. So look, while we were together in a total of 15 minutes, and being awkward that I'm doing this, trying to do this the best I can in front of a laptop camera, I've got 3 yogurts ready to go in the freezer. And literally, I just make sure they're well sealed. 1, 2, 3 in the freezer. And by tomorrow morning, I've got frozen yogurt. So easy to do. As you can imagine, you could use sugar-free Jell-O powder to flavor your yogurt. You can use any baking extract. I'm thinking next time, I love chocolate and mint together. So I'm thinking next time I make this, I'm going to try adding some peppermint extract to my chocolate one and see how that goes. Again, we could add some sea salt, so if we want that chocolate and a little salt together. It's all about experimenting. Given how many baking extracts, flavored stevias, essential oils that are food grade that are out there, your frozen yogurt options are limitless. And look how simple. The